Welcome, everyone, to the finale for Big Brother Disney Season 5, Disneyland. We made it all the way to the end, y'all. So,
Did she freeze?
Oh, she frozen.
She froze.
She froze.
Did she unfreeze?
She unfroze.
Great. We have our lovely final two here with us, Tyler and Brandon, and a lovely set of jurors who cannot wait to talk to both of you. So, without further ado, Brandon, as final head of household, gets to decide the order for opening and closing statements tonight. He has decided he will go first for opening statements, and Tyler will go second, and then we'll flip-flop that for closing statements. Brandon will go first, and Tyler will go first, and Brandon will go second for closing statements. Everybody has 10 minutes for both opening and closing statements. Jurors have 10 minutes to speak to the final two each. Without further ado, everybody's getting a 3-minute and a 1-minute warning for time checks, just so everybody is aware. And without further ado, opening statements away. So, Brandon, go for it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I almost cut you off. That's my bad. Hello, esteemed members of the jury, if you are watching. First off, I want to thank Prod for honestly making this an amazing season. This has honestly been truly magical. You get it? Anyways, I think initially starting this game, I wanted to be under the radar because that's usually the way I kind of go in games, kind of be my little quirky self, make the friends that I do, and see how far I get in the game. However, getting nominated initially round 2 kind of forced me to play a lot more of an aggressive game than I was initially anticipating. However, I honestly think that actually worked out really well, and it lit fire under my ass that just never left me throughout the rest of the game. I think that culminates really into week 4, right before the Michael backdoor on my end. Well, the attempted one would have worked, whatever. I actually worked with Josh in order to form a 5-person alliance of myself, Tyler, him, Avery, and Karen. I needed Simba, like that with the yeet gift, because I thought that was funny. That was an alliance that was very crucial to my game personally. I was close to a lot of people from that alliance, and I wanted to see it as far as I could. And it's why when I made the attempt to backdoor Michael, when everyone was saying, oh, you're gonna get so much backlash, and you know what do you think? I'm saying like, I don't know about that, bestie. And I was right. Even when Tower won, all of us in Simba came up with a plan to put me up with Connor and to convince everyone else to sack him, and the plan worked. From there, I pretty much knew that I was able to integrate myself not only with people in my alliance, but other people that I had very close relationships with, like Jason and Zoe, to make sure that not only was I going to be able to survive if I ever got put on the block again, which I did a lot, but that I was also able to put myself into a better position going forward, being able to integrate myself and being able to course correct and shift whenever I needed. I was the little cockroach in this game that would not fucking die no matter how many people tried. And I think that's not only a credit to my own game socially, but also strategically as well, that I knew when to make the right moves when I needed, when to take Alex out of final 6, or when to throw the final head of household, not throw the final head of household, when to throw the final 5 to Michael to make sure he didn't have an opportunity to compete in final 4. It's little moves like that that I feel like also helped me get farther in this game as well, not only with the relationships that I did share with people like Tyler, with people like Karen, with people like Avery, Josh, literally almost everyone in this game. I think socially I was good. Maybe I didn't go on calls with people 24/7, but that's not my personality because look at me. I have college, I have a thesis, but I always wanted to put myself in a good light. I want to put my best foot forward because what I am about these games is passionate, and that has never died whenever I have played these games. Physically, I don't think I can be beat. I won 6 competitions throughout this entire game, 3 of households, 3 power VOs. Each of them were absolutely crucial to my game, and I fought my ass off for all of those to make sure that I was sitting here and that I would be taking myself to the end more so than anything else. And strategically, I feel like I made sound moves throughout this game. Maybe some of them weren't necessarily as big or as flashy, but I wanted to make sure that I at least put myself in the best position forward to not only make the end, but stay as true as I was to myself, as genuine as I was to myself. I was always an open book throughout this game. All my strengths, my weaknesses, my emotions, my personality, everything about me was always an open book to everyone. I never wanted to lie about my intentions. I never wanted to gaslight anyone on anything. What you saw was what you got. A little nerdy, paranoid-filled, nervous wreck who actually is a very good Big Brother player. And that's what I am. Ultimately, I feel like I did really play a good game more so than anything else. Physically, I feel like I won the most competitions this entire game. And even when I didn't win, I actually placed really well in a lot of them because I always fought for myself. Socially, I was able to survive 7 trips on the nomination block. I believe more than anyone in Big Brother Disney history. 2 of those I was able to get off. One of them by myself in week 2. One of them when Emily used a power veto on me when Avery left because I tried to convince her into doing that and it worked. And the other 5 times, even when there was a serious threat to take me out, I pushed and I worked my ass off to make sure that I stayed. And every single time someone made a move against me and they tried to fire a bullet against me, I caught it, put it in my own gun and aimed it right back at them. And I might not have shot immediately, but I always shot where it counts. I'm ready to do this. I thought I'd be a lot more nervous than I initially was, but I'm ready for this shit. Let's go. Yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Brandon. Tyler, you're up.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I just want to start off by saying thank you, production, for an amazing season. This has truly been one of the best casts I've ever played with. I think on a personal level, everybody has been absolutely amazing. And I know I've done quite a few people on the jury dirty, but again, it doesn't change my perception of you in the slightest. I still love you all regardless what happens. So coming to this game, I was terrified as fuck. Like from the get-go, there were so many big players in this game, and I didn't really know where I fell in that category. However, I was able to find footing right from the get-go. The first time I was ever nominated was at Final 3 when I was forced on the block. And I guess it could be argued that I didn't play a perfect game. I guess that's for a discussion later on, but I was nominated at Final 3. However, I was vulnerable every other round in the jury besides Final 4. I never won a competition in the jury except for the Final 4 veto, which I think is a big testament to my social game. And yeah, I was included in 5 major alliances in this game that really helped me push through. The first one was called The Pretty People with me, Avery, and Emily. And this was created on day 1, which I thought was very crucial to my game. Those are 2 people I feel like I vibed with the best overall. And yeah, it's just, we always worked well together regardless. The second one was called The Spirits, which consisted of me, Alex, Avery, Michael. And I would say this was my most consistent alliance throughout. I think we always made decisions together, or like if one of us won HOH, the chat was always popping. And regardless, like those are always people that I had in my corner. And then we had this dysfunctional ass group of like me, Jason, Hearn, Michael, Josh, I'm forgetting Alex. And we all knew, on my end, I knew that was not gonna last. I don't know about everybody else, but on my end, that was a very round to round basis. And I didn't really put any stock in it in the slightest. And then there was another group, which Brandon already mentioned, called the Simba Alliance, which was myself, Avery, Karen, Brandon, and Josh. And although I know that Avery and Karen weren't super invested in it, it was still like it was still a good foundation for me to get things to go my way. And then last but not least, we had the Girls Chat, which was me, Avery, Zoe, and Karen, which I think covered my bases from all ends. And yeah, without all those groups, I really don't think I could have played the game I did play. So yeah, I'm gonna go into a brief like little summary of a few rounds, or a lot of rounds actually. So round 1 and 2 were very similar to me. I really didn't want Chloe or Jazzy to go, but ultimately they did. However, I never really saw either of them in my long-term plans anyway. So them leaving was not the worst thing. However, me saving Jazzy really opened up a good spot for me in this game, because the 4 people that saved Jazzy ended up becoming the Spirits. And yeah, right when Alex won HOH, it was made, and ever since then, it really helped me. Round 3 was a bit of a hot mess because I really did not want to win this HOH. It was 100% random. And I really did not know what to do because the duos really put a wrench in a lot of different plans that I had. Me and Avery got really sloshed on call that night, got really fucking drunk, played drinking games. And then drunken Avery came up with this idea of, I really want Brian out. You really want Brian out. Just put me up. I think I'll stay. And ultimately, the plan did work out because my number one ally ended up staying and my number one target ended up leaving. So somehow I got out of that scotch-free. And then the Luke round, round 4, I believe that this was the start of my amazing game here because for those of you, I'm sure everybody in the jury knows by now, but Emily was the one to save Michael. And all day long, Emily was saving Luke because they're IRL friends. And last minute, I made a last minute pitch to Emily being like, I think Michael needs to stay. Everyone we want to work with is going to save Michael. And I feel like, I feel like long-term it is for the best. And finally, after like 5 minutes of conversation, she was like, fine, I'll save Michael. And then Michael stayed 6'4", and everyone was like, what the fuck happened? And then this was where it was my idea for her not to tell anybody that she saved Michael, because I knew Hearn was being wishy-washy with every single person in the game about his vote, and I didn't really trust Hearn. So I felt like if Emily didn't say anything, everybody was going to blame Hearn, which is exactly what happened. And then the Connor round, I knew this, again, another HOH I didn't want to win, but this was the social comp that I feel like opened a lot of people's eyes about my game. I was only shot one time in that whole entire shooting challenge before the final 4 of that challenge, which I think made people realize that I was a social threat in this game. And after I won, I knew I wanted Connor to be my target, but I did not know how to approach it. Because he was tied to Brandon, and I really did not want to have Brandon like not be with me or like freak out or whatever. So I had called Avery, Karen, and Josh ahead of time before I called the Simba chat and been like, I think we need to somehow get Brandon to agree to go up. And then when we called the Simba chat, Brandon, it was honestly really easy. I think we laid out the pros and cons. Brandon agreed to it. Brandon was willing to go up, and we ended up taking Connor out. So that was another HOH where I got my target out and I got no blood on my hands. And Michael going the first time, I knew this round was going to be a hot mess because I knew Jason was not just winning HOH to sit here and make the easy nom and take out easy people. I think it was clear as day a big shot was going to be fired. And then Avery got put up as a third nominee, and these noms were awful. But at the end of the day, the second I saw the 3 noms, I knew Michael needed to leave because I was super close with Josh and Avery, and I couldn't risk any of them going. So although I didn't have much of a say in this round, I did want Michael to go, and that is what happened. And then round 7, this was a double eviction where Hearn left. I would say this round, I am so sorry, Hearn, if you're watching this. I've said this to probably every single person in the game. You probably have such a sour taste of me in your mouth because I straight up targeted you that entire double eviction. And obviously we couldn't message or anything. So I never even got to tell you I was evicting you. I never, like, nothing of the sort. So again, I apologize. However, I do think you were the only person left in the game that would have put me up. And me planting seeds about you, saving Luke, or saving Michael when you didn't, really came into play here. And I really think a lot of people were willing to take you out because of that. And so round 8, Emily won HOH, and she was going back and forth with me. She wanted to nom Zoe and Karen initially. However, later in the day, Emily calls me randomly, and she's like, just so you know, Jason just called me and says, like, you're the biggest threat right now. You need to go up. And so then I flipped her noms and made her realize that Zoe and Jason were the correct noms, because I was like, if Jason's after me, he must go right now. And I know Jason's not a dumb player. I know Jason's super smart in this game. So I think for my game, he needed to go. And then when Karen won veto and took Zoe off, I was a bit paranoid that Jason was going to end up staying, but ultimately it worked out and Jason went home. Now the Zoe vote, Zoe, everything I told you that round was, I genuinely meant it. You can ask Michael, you can ask Avery. I went back and forth the initial day. I was evicting you initially, but when I woke up the next morning, I was saving you. And I'm sorry, Brandon, but I was saving you, Zoe. But Avery would not budge. When I was messaging Karen, I was telling Karen, I want to save Zoe. Avery's not budging. As we're sitting on the girls call, Avery's messaging me like, we need to take out Zoe. We need to take out Zoe. I even somehow convinced Michael to save you in a tie if Avery was doing it. And Michael created a call with me, Avery, and himself. And I was vouching for you to stay. But I wasn't pushing too hard because I knew at the end of the day, like, it wasn't a make or break decision for me, but I did want you to stay. Ultimately, it was Avery who wouldn't go along with it, and so I couldn't go along with it either. However, I do think looking back at it, it was probably best you left. I don't really know where we stood, but at that time, I felt really good with you. Now, the Josh round, let me tell you, this hurt my soul more than anything because basically I felt like I had to choose between my relationship with Josh in the game or my standing in the game. And Avery made me promise on the spirits call when she won HOH that I would evict Josh no matter what. And at that point, I feel like I had to do it because I was either putting all my eggs in Josh's basket or I was keeping my standing in the game. And I definitely took the selfish approach by wanting Josh to leave. And initially, I thought I really was the swing vote. I sat on call with Karen. Karen was leaning towards saving Josh initially. And then I kind of laid out the pros and cons in favor of Josh leaving. And regardless if that had an impact or not, I don't know. But Karen ended up wanting Josh out later on, which kind of made me feel better about myself, which I don't know if I should have, but it made me feel better personally. And yeah, and I'm, again, deeply sorry, but I was a very selfish bitch in this game, and I will own that. So the Avery round, I feel like this one is the one that has a lot of people raising question marks or whatever. So,
all right, thank you, Tyler. Your 10 minutes is up. With that being said, we are going to be getting into our first juror of the night, which is going to be Michael Hearn.
Lovely, lovely.
Hi.
Minutes will start when you start talking.
Let me get my camera ready. I have to. Yeah, my hair looks great. Okay, cool.
Michael, your hair looks amazing.
It really does today. It looks so good today. Anyway, I am ready. So you want to begin the timer, or do I just go to start?
It will start when you start talking. Got
it. Okay. So I'm going to preface this by saying I don't really care who wins, so you're both on even playing field. I've not been paying much attention to this game, so you don't have to try too hard about impressing me. As you recall, you were asked before this finale to bring a pen and paper with you. If you could show that up to the camera now. Great. Okay, and now just toss it to the side. You don't need it. I don't want to waste you guys' time because that's funny to me. So rule number 1 for this jury questioning, Tyler, you kind of speak in this kind of monotone stoner kind of voice. I want to see some inflection in your voice during this questioning. So if you could raise the pitch to get an octave a little bit when you speak to me, and then you may get my vote more easily. And so to really, really waste your guys' time, I'm going to play a fun little game. Raise your hand if you like games. Cool. So I'm going to give you a random topic, and you are going to rant to me about said topic. Got it? Not if we understand the rules. Cool. Tyler, this is your topic. I want you to rant to me about potatoes.
So I think the worst part about potatoes, honestly, is that there's so many different kinds of potatoes that you can make. So like when you're thinking about a potato, first of all, they look disgusting. They come out of the ground and you don't want nothing to do with them, really, just looking at them until you cook them. However, the decision of what kind of potato you make is always a very hard decision. And ultimately, my favorite is mashed potatoes, and I will not really eat any other potato. So for me, I don't really like the taste of potatoes unless there's some sort of sauce or something on top of it. Um, so yeah, overall, not a fan of potatoes. They look gross to me.
Got it. Okay. Now, Brandon, this is your rule for this challenge. You a lot of times will make a point about a play and they go, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it. Like, I'm so sorry." Stop apologizing. You're not allowed to apologize. Got it? So your topic to rant on is Tyler. Give me a rant about Tyler.
Tower actually sometimes frustrates me in this game because sometimes he'll give me reasoning for something. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you really think this is the optimal situation? Not for myself, but for you. Because multiple times throughout this game, I've just seen him pissing off people. And I'm like singing like, dude, stop, I care for you. But seriously, why? On a personal level, he is actually someone I got very close to in this game because if you know me, I sometimes freak out a lot. He was someone who actually very much helped me throughout this game, even though he could be an emotional bitch just like I am. The only difference is he's kind of stoic as shit, so he's able to hide it a lot. Sometimes I also think he has a crush on me more so than anything else, but that's my personal take on it. You know it's true, Tyler. Shut the fuck up. Tyler is someone, honestly, who I consider a very good player, but sometimes I pick apart little specific things that he does, and I'm sitting here like, bruh, why? There's no reason to. Stop immediately. Get help. You need it. Overall, though, cool person. Love to see him not wear a beanie sometimes because I just imagine his head looking like an egg. And, like, I've never seen him take off that beanie. I want to see him take off that beanie once. Don't tell me I'm wrong.
One other specific call that I totally agree with. How much time do I have left?
A little over 6 minutes.
Got it. Okay, so Brandon, because it's fun to hear you rant, give me a rant about stairs.
I had to walk up a lot of stairs actually recently because I was doing a thesis presentation on indoor navigation applications, and one of those situations was that I had to walk up and down stairs in order to actually get the thing to work more so than anything else. Me and stairs have a weird relationship because sometimes it's good for getting exercise, but when you have 10 fire drills in a 6-story building in 1 week and you live on top of like the 5th floor, you will grow to hate those stairs, especially because some stairs are like super small and you have to like go up 3 stairs, and then some stairs are like 20 steps in between. And you're sitting, you're like, why do you have to be so fucking temperamental? Stop immediately. I understand the purpose for stairs. I understand that some people don't like taking elevators. I know it's like personal thing shit. And I know that sometimes like there's no reason to put an elevator somewhere, but if there was an option to make a working elevator and just put it everywhere, I would, because I hate stairs. I hate walking up them. I like jumping down them. I will grab the rails and I will just fling myself down like 5 sets of stairs and win perfectly. And I'll just do like that little gymnastics thing. No shame in admitting it. But yeah, overall, fuck stairs.
Awesome. Okay, so I still have some time left. So Tyler, you will have to give me a run about energy drinks because I just saw you drinking one.
It's a Truly, but
Did I say you could correct me? It's an energy drink.
I was just saying, but it's okay. I will give you a rant about energy drinks. So I personally am not the biggest fan of energy drinks. I think most energy drinks are super fizzy and like way too fizzy, and I'm not a fan of fizzy drinks for the most part. That's why I'm drinking a Truly, because they're like fizzy but not too fizzy. Energy drinks also make me just feel like shit and make my stomach like hurt all day long. They're also apparently very bad for you. Don't really know the science behind it because I'm not a scientist, but apparently they're really bad for you. So I try to stay away from them, and yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so now a question to both of you. Tell me how cute I am, but like without saying how cute I am. Like compliment me basically.
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I can go first. So you have really nice hair. You can wake up at 4 a.m. and do a challenge and still look like you've been preparing all day to show up for it. I'm a big fan. Hold on, let me pin you to my screen really quick. I'm a big fan of your teeth and your eyes. I feel like you have a really nice smile. And your eyes, I don't really know what color they are, but you have really nice eyes. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll add on to the hair thing because sometimes I hate how good your hair looks. Like I have blonde highlights in my hair. You can't really see them because they get really freaked out. But I wish my hair was as blonde as yours because it just looks so impeccably good sometimes. I just want to take it and put it on my own head. I also didn't know you actually sew. And when you posted those pictures, it honestly surprised me because I've known you for so long in this community because we go way back. It's something new that I learned about you. And I actually really like that about you because I'm a huge personality type of thing. I don't necessarily take people for looks. And you have a personality that I very much vibe with because you're always such a kind person, such a sweet person whenever we have talked more so than anything else. And that for me is way more important than looks. Looks do play a part as well. And also you and I are part of the glasses squad. And I love that for both of us because glasses are hot no matter which way you look at it. Some people can't pull off without glasses, but some people really can pull it with glasses. And you are one of those people. I also hate that sometimes it doesn't look like you have pimples and I'm jealous because sometimes I get like pimples all over the fucking place. And sometimes I hate people with perfect skin for how good they look more so than anything else. And I'm kind of jealous about that, but that's me. Honestly, there's a lot about you I genuinely do like personally and physically. For me, it's a mix of the two that's very important.
Thank you. You are totally correct. I do have very clear skin. I don't know. It's genetic, I think. Timmy, congratulations. I didn't know you could count to 2, so I'm very impressed. Lastly, regarding my final thoughts, good luck today. I don't know the vibe of the jury. Like, I truly don't care. I've not been paying attention, but if they hate you, they'll let you know. I think some people might have some things to say, some things to, rant about, especially Tyler, the backstabbing snake, or whatever people have been talking about the past couple of weeks. I've been paying attention. Anyway, I was robbed. Hopefully I win player of the season because of my amazing gameplay, obviously. Thank you, Timmy, again. Didn't know you could count to 1. Anyway, thank you so much for having me, CBS, Disney Productions, that kind of thing. Take care and good luck, besties. How do I leave? Cool, bye.
Thank you so much, Michael Hearn. We appreciate you. Thank you again for playing. All right, next up we have Jason. All right,
Hello.
welcome, Jason. You have 10 minutes when you start talking.
Am I sideways? All right. Anyways, hi, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Good.
That's good. I guess I'm going to ask the first game-related question, which is fine. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to ask Brandon the first question, Ty the second question. Brandon, you're going to have 3 minutes to answer it. Ty, you'll also have 3 minutes to answer it. All right. So, Brandon, we feel like in the jury, your social game was on point. You were always making connections, and they were always very genuine connections. However, you being on the block a lot, and I mean, you're like Victoria from 16 over there on the block a lot. Not, you aren't Victoria, don't worry. We feel like or at least I feel like your strategic game was lacking in a lot of ways. Please tell me why I'm wrong. And because I don't seem to have a timer, I'm going to use a microwave.
Do you want me to start now?
And begin.
I wouldn't argue that my strategic game was lacking in the slightest. Yes, I might not have made the biggest moves, but the strategic moves I have are very subtle more so than anything else. Maybe it's the social connections that I make more so than anything else, but I always see everything as kind of a connection of little moves more so than anything else. Me being on the block 24/7 doesn't necessarily mean I'm playing no strategic game in general. Even if it's connections I'm making more so than anything else, I always have a thought that sometimes social and strategic won more so than anything else. And when I did have power as well, because I have won a lot of competitions, I made moves that were beneficial for my game. For instance, taking Alexander out of final 6, throwing the final 5 head of household to Michael Davis to make sure he couldn't compete in Final Four because he was always my target going into Final Four more certain than anything else. Flipping Karen at the final 8, so Josh would pretty much be confirmed leaving because Tyler didn't think I'd be able to flip Karen. Told me straight up he didn't think I'd be able to do that. I did. And creating the Symbol Alliance especially, I think a lot of the strategic moves that I personally made in this game were also to help buff up more so my social game more so than anything else, because it's always an aspect that I personally felt I was lacking in these games. And it's something I definitely wanted to build upon. Not to say that I wasn't making strategic moves early in this game. You saw me try to backdoor Michael. It's something that came very, very close to working. And that was generally a read that I had in the room that a lot of people did want to take him out more so than anything else. And I would say me trying to backdoor Michael in that case actually pretty much started the game up completely. I also was thinking of jury management more to say anything else, which is why I wanted to have good relationships with people, because I felt like if people had a good thought of me going into the jury, they'd be more likely to vote for me at the end if I explained my game enough well. And I definitely feel like I played a good game. I wouldn't argue that me being on the nomination box 7 times means I played a strategic game, which isn't necessarily the case. Maybe it's an unorthodox strategic game completely, but there is a strategic game there more so than anything else. And I definitely made moves not only to advance myself in this game, but to make sure I put myself in the best position possible to make the end. Maybe, yes, I did get nominated 7 times, but every single one of those times, every single time someone fucking considered me to leave, I put my fucking foot down and make sure I stayed. Not mostly because of the social connections I made based on the strategic aspects that I had. Those 2 aspects go hand in hand. And I will say this, for as much as a big threat and a house target I was week 4, I'm still sitting here, motherfuckers. And that's my strategic game.
All right, thank you. Let me stop that. Now, Tyler, on the flip side of that, you had a good social game up until it came time to evict somebody. Because once it came time to evict somebody, you just did not know how to handle that at all. However, your strategic game was one of the better ones I've ever seen in any of these games ever. Not almost playing a perfect game is amazing, especially in orgs where we are all experienced in how to play these games. So, Tyler, I want you to talk about your social game and why I'm wrong for believing that your jury management at the end of the day sucked.
I honestly will say that I think my social game is why my jury management sucked. Because I had strong connections. I will say that my connections weren't as strong with you and Hearn overall. But I think every other person that got evicted, I had a good social relationship with Zoe, great social game or with Josh, and the Zoe vote, if I don't really know how Zoe thinks right now, but if Zoe is pissed at me, it's because we had a good working relationship. Someone like Alex was all into the spirits chat because of how much we talked, how much of a connection we had. And then I ended up just slaughtering him in cold blood, which I agree, bad jury management, but it was how I got to the end. And Karen, another one. Me and Karen sat on calls for hours upon hours. Every day, she was my late night buddy. Like we called for maybe 1 to 2 hours every day, every other day. And that's probably why she's going to be so mad at me, because we had that strong connection that ultimately I screwed over. Me and Avery, we got drunk honestly every other night on calls, and for like 4 or 5 hours maybe. I put so much time into these calls. I built the relationships I needed to, which helped me get into these groups and help me make the moves I needed to. I think without a social game, you don't have a strategic game in these games. So, yeah.
All right, thank you. Now, real quickly, as with the time I have left, we are simply going to go over, I want to know your favorite moment in this game. Tyler, please begin.
My favorite moment in this game, I don't know. I'm going to touch on 2, but my one that I have overall was honestly this one night where me and Avery were on call, and she was smoking a dart out her window, and her mom ended up texting her being like, is there something burning? And she had to like light a candle and blow it out. And it was like a big thing for like a whole hour. Typical Avery, loves Avery. And so I think that moment like strikes me as like just a fun moment in the game. But I think an actual game moment, I I honestly is another night where I was on a call with Zoe, Avery, and I think Karen was there for a while in our Girls Alliance chat, where again, we just had fun. We played drinking games, and apparently it's the first time Zoe blacked out, so mission accomplished. And yeah, I like to take these games and have fun with them as well as play the game. So those fun little moments.
Thank you. And finally, Brandon, what was your favorite moment in this game?
Honestly, it's pretty easy. My favorite moment in this game, there was just one night, I think we were up until like 4 a.m. I believe it was Michael Davis, Josh, I'm pretty sure Karen or it was either Karen or Avery. One of them mentioned that they'd be back and they just never showed up because I think they passed out at the time. Me and I'm pretty sure Tara was there as well. We were all on call late at night, and then we were all drinking and taking shots together, and then we pulled up like these 18 plus truth or dares. Oh no, Tower's definitely there because he stripped naked in front of us, and it was hysterical. Keen was there too, and we made him so fucking uncomfortable throughout that entire thing. I'm not sure if he actually stripped naked. He must have been like wearing his underwear, but there was like, it was one of the truth or dares. It's like, take off 3 articles of clothing, and Tyler refused to take off his fucking hoodie, so he took off everything else. I thought that was hysterical. Honestly, we just vibed that entire night, and it kind of made me realize how much I absolutely loved everyone in this game, especially that night. It was honestly just so much fun, just so much stupid bullshit. It was a lot.
All right, so just wrapping this up, you guys definitely, I want to hear a lot of like want to win this game. Like, these are games we made it far. I want you to, thanks, Timmy. I'm not going to need it. I want you guys to really put yourselves into this. And that's it. One of you does have a better chance than the other. I won't tell you who. Have a good one, guys.
All right, next up, thank you, Jason. Next up, sorry. Thank you very much, Jason. We love you. Next up, we have Zoe.
With Karen in the same room.
I think they wanted it to be a surprise.
That's it. One of you does have a better chance than the other.
Okay.
I won't tell you who.
And my internet is
my bad. The
frozen.
stream was behind my phone, so
You're all good. We
good.
lagged and froze, so it's all okay. Zoe, your
Oh my
time
God,
will
perfect.
start. Your time will start when you start talking, Queen. I love you. You're so hot.
I love you so much. Anyway, so congratulations, boys. It's been quite a game. I know that I had a good relationship with both of you to a point. So I did want to ask Tyler first. What benefits do you gain from lying to the nom as they're going out post veto? I'm just wondering. Like, I know that you said that everything that we talked about that day was genuine, but like hearing a lot in the jury chat when people continued to join me just proves that that's not true.
Are you referring to like why I told you I was going to save you? Is that what we're talking about?
No,
just in
because I
general?
understand, like, what I'm really trying to say is, like, there was a lot said that day, which did not include vital information that I should have known if you really wanted to save me. So why continue to lie to somebody post veto if they are going to go home and you know it?
I will say that I thought there was a chance I could flip Avery, and that was the only vital information I kept from you, I feel like, because genuinely, I know I tried to convince Michael to save you in the tie, and this was when Avery was MIA. Like, it was me, you, Karen on call. And during this moment, I was trying to get votes for you to stay, but I was trying to do it in a way where I wouldn't tank my own game. So my route was to go Michael, Karen, me, Avery. And when Avery logged on, I tried to convince her for a good 30 minutes, and nothing I said budged her. So I will say I did want you to stay, but it wasn't the end of my game if you did leave. So I will say that.
Okay, bless. Brandon, I want to congratulate you on playing an incredible, honest, straightforward game in which you won so many comps and were on the block. Well, you know, some comps, and and were on the block numerous times. I don't think that you lied to me one time. I think that every conversation that we had, like, I grew more and more fond of you every single time we spoke. I'll consider who I'm voting for, but I am leaning a very specific way. But I do love you both so much, and I love this prod team, and this game was fun.
Can I ask something quickly?
Yeah.
When you come to New York, are we drinking at Beachmont?
Of course we are, and we're getting wings, bestie.
Yes, bestie. Okay.
Okay. I think that I'll just take the initiative here and say it's Karen's turn. So,
hi, besties.
Hello,
What's
Queen
up?
Karen.
Hi.
Yes, next up we do have Queen Karen, and again, your 10 minutes will start when you start talking.
Okay, so I don't know why my heart is pounding right now, but I feel so fucking nervous, and I kind of just hope both of you are shitting your pants a little bit too, so we're on like even ground here. Tyler, I don't even know what to say. I've thought about it a lot, and I kind of just want to start with, you didn't get a chance in your opening to talk about what happened with me, so like, let's go down that day. How long did you know you were going to do that? And how hard did you scheme to take me out like that? Because, you know, I didn't know until 10 minutes before. So.
I will say, I think I called Michael 40 minutes before eviction. And Michael was gung-ho on saving you. He was very much saving you. And I will say, on a personal level, it did break me because I think we had one of the best relationships that I had in the game on a social level. But however, when I called with Brandon earlier that day, he did slip by saying he didn't know if he would take me over you. And I felt like if you left that day, every single other person was bringing me to final two. And I know we had a final two, but I didn't know if it was reciprocal, like you and Brandon, or if it was me and you. And I feel like I couldn't risk that, which is, ultimately why I did end up making that choice. And I will, obviously I did lie about me and Brandon having a chat, but it was the only way Michael was going to evict you. And again, I do deeply apologize on a personal level, but it was best for my game.
That's true. I also have a question about like perfect game. Like, I don't know what could be a perfect game when so many people felt so hurt by how you played. Like, just because you didn't touch it doesn't mean it wasn't messy, doesn't mean it was very good. Whereas Brandon touched it the most, and yet he's still here. Like, he won when he had to win type shit. So I don't know. Do you really think you played a perfect game?
Perfect in the sense I didn't touch the block. Yes. Perfect as in my jury management is flawless. No. I think that, but the position I put myself in this game, I think I had so many connections that no matter what I did at almost any vote, I was pissing somebody off. And obviously that's due to my own game because I was with everybody. And there's not much I could have done after I put myself in that position. So overall, no, I don't think I played a perfect game, but perfect nom as in not going up, yes.
Fair. Brandon, I don't really have a specific question. So if you just want to say anything, I'd love to hear from you, bestie.
Honestly, my biggest regret in this game was not using the power play on you at the final five. It honestly was, because I know I wasn't certain, but I think thinking back in it, I wanted you in the final two with me. I really did. Karen, I don't know how much you mean to me in this game. Like, I remember you and I were shit talking out after Alexander put us up the second time, and we were just feeding off of each other's egos and everything else. You were my closest ally this entire game, and I'm so happy I met you, more so than anything else. I know I'm not sure if that will sway anything, but just genuinely deep down, I want you to know that. I appreciate you so much in this game and everything that you have done for me and I have done for you. I was truthful in everything I did say to you. And yeah, and I guess in regards, I mean, if I can talk, because you know I like talking sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sorry. Oh, God damn it, I need to stop saying that shit. Okay. In regards to Tyler's social game as well, yes, I do consider it. I guess I think you and I noticed it differently when he started slipping up and starting pissing off people when he left. I would argue that a good social game necessarily just isn't a connection you have with people. It's how you handle their evictions as well. It's how you kind of lay out what you're thinking about everything. You know me, I was always honest around my prior opinions. Even though you won Emily got final 6, I was open about my thoughts about taking out Alexander as well. So when I pulled the gun, you weren't as upset with me as you would have been had I just not told you straight up, right?
I just thought of a question. I want to be able to ask it. Do you think I would have beat you if we would have made it to the final 2?
Yes. And I didn't care because I wanted you at the end of me. I was very honest and truthful about the Simba Alliance and everyone I had. Ultimately, I was looking out for me more so than anything else. And yes, I do still believe I have a chance to beat Tyler more so than anything else. And I think I have a good chance more so than anything else. But for me personally, I'm not sure which way was swung between us, but I wanted you in the end with me because you were my closest ally. We were together from day one. I wanted you in the end.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love you both so much. You both drive me nuts in so many different ways. I could kill both of you so many different times, but I do have a fondness for both of you. Yeah, good job. Oh wait, Ty, do you think I would have beat you too? Do you genuinely think that?
100%. I think no, like the thing is nobody can't love you as a person. Like everybody just loves you as a person, and you did play a good game on top of that. So yes.
Good. I just need a little flattery, so perfect.
Of course,
all right.
Everybody does.
Thank you both. Good luck. We'll see.
Bye, besties.
Bye.
Thank you, my beautiful, beautiful ladies. All right, next up, we have the king himself, Josh Rogers. It says he's joining. Hello, Josh.
Hello.
Long time no see, bestie. Welcome,
I know,
welcome.
I've missed you all.
Missed you. You're 10 minutes.
She said 10 minutes.
I think Miss
Okay,
Ma'am
was I the only one that lost audio there?
No, it's our internet in the apartment tonight is not our friend. But your 10 minutes will start when you start talking, love.
Okay, I will apologize in advance. I might freeze because my internet also sucks. But I just want to say, first of all, congratulations to both of you. I think that you were 2 of my closest relationships in this game. And regardless of where I stood with you, like you both were very close to me in this game. So I am also drinking. So we'll cheers to the final 2. I don't think Brandon has a drink, but we'll cheers to the final 2. Because you both deserve it in so many different ways. So I think you both know how I feel about you personally. Brandon, I really loved getting to know you this season. We not really connected like this in any games previous. So it was really, really a joy to be able to see sort of the more personable social side of you. And then obviously, Tyler, you know, I think the world of you. Like I never expected to make another best friend in this game. And here we are. So that aside, this is going to be more game focused for me, I think, because like obviously personally it's sort of like a dead heat. So let me just pull my questions up here. So I just want to address something real quick with Tyler first. I think I have fewer questions for Tyler because I do know a little bit more about your game. I know there were a lot of things I didn't know, but I feel like I know a little bit more. So we talked about this many times. I was dead set on final 2 with you, as I know a lot of people were, which is probably a flaw on my part, not yours. But I thought that we had a really, really great connection regardless of the people around us. But then when I was on my way out the door, there were these magical seeds that were being planted by me that I didn't even know existed. And you sort of used that, whether it was as an excuse or I don't know what it was, but that was one of your main talking points to me of like, I don't know if I can keep you. So I'm just wondering, because I felt like our bond was really, really strong, why you sort of just dropped me when these mystical seeds appeared. So I don't know if you want to touch on that at all.
I will say that those magical seeds had nothing to do with why I evicted you. I did use that as an excuse. I feel like all day, because of how close we were, I was trying to validate in my brain why it was smarter to evict you, or like, well, I knew it was smarter to evict you. I was trying to validate why I could evict you. And I kind of use these things as excuses, absolutely, because I was trying to tell my brain, this is what you have to do. However, the reason I did evict you is because I think if I kept you, I broke every other bond I had in the game except you and Michael. And I think, although I do think you two were the best at comps, I don't think that would have been the best for my game to just ride it out with you and Michael. And so that's why I feel like I had to let you go. And I needed people like Alex, I needed people like Avery, I needed people like Emily. And I think all three of those people I broke trust with if I had kept you.
For sure. Yeah, and like I'm not upset about it at all. Like anybody who knows me knows that once I leave the game stays in the game. So I'm definitely not like mad about how I went out at all. I just like, I'm the type of person that like, if you're going to evict me, regardless of what our relationship is, like just tell me straight up and I won't hold it against you, because like it's at the end of the day, it's just a game and I'm not going to get mad or angry or upset about it. Brandon, I have a couple questions for you. And I'm hoping to get through this because I do want to ask like a more like chill, relaxed, fun question at the end if I have time. Okay. So a couple things I'm curious about, like obviously we were close, but I didn't really know a lot of the aspects of your game. And obviously you didn't have to evict me because you were sitting next to me on the block. Yeah. So I just want to know, I know your first HOH was fairly early on, so I get just going with the house, but you won the double eviction HOH. And that was a really key time, I think, to make a big move in the game. And you just went with the house target. I just want to know why you think that, like, why did you just go along with what the house wanted as opposed to potentially taking out a bigger target that could potentially have messed up your game down the line? Like, I know you made it to final two eventually, but like in the moment, like that was your time to take a big swing at someone.
No, of course. And I remember you were talking about this in the double eviction with me. Strategically, for me, it made more sense for me to take out Michael Hearn. One, because I didn't know where he stood in this game. Two, if it was a house target thing, I understood that. But that was my decision I made by myself, more so than anything else, to try and take out Michael Hearn during the double eviction. No one pressured me into doing that or anything. It was the move that made more sense strategically with the information I had. Not only that, but I felt I had a personal relationship with Jason that was relatively strong, especially after the first HOH and conversations that we did have beforehand. Was it misplaced trust? I don't know. But I did not want to be the one to take the shot against Josh. I felt I had a good relationship with him. And going into the late game, I felt like I needed as much close relationships I had as possible in order to push myself forward in the game with how big of a target I knew I was at the time. It made more sense for me to take out the wild card than someone who I knew could potentially be on my side.
For sure. Like this is kind of a question, but kind of also like one thing, and I have not been super active in the jury chat because like the time that I left the game was not great for me personally. So I just sort of took a step away from the game, just needed to get out. But a lot of the conversation has been around sort of like social game and who has played a really good social game. And so for me, like I look at it differently than all the rest of the jurors, and that's fine. I'm wondering, like you, like for me, like you obviously had a good social game because you never left, but you were constantly being nominated. And I kind of feel like that reflects more on other people's social games than your own, just because there was a lot happening outside of that people were controlling the game around you with their games. So I'm just wondering, like what specifically do you feel like you did really well socially that, but like wasn't enough to keep you off the block? Does that make any sense? I feel like that thought was kind of disjointed.
No. I completely get what you're saying. I think for me, there's different ways I also interpret social game as well, because some people obviously consider it specifically as how well you can get along with people. For me, it's also how comfortable I feel with people more so than anything else. Even if I touch the block multiple times, I want to make sure that people still feel comfortable with me, that stuff won't happen afterwards. Which is why after obviously the second round, because I have huge nerves when it comes to like between the first and third rounds because of bad experiences I've had in other games. After that, even when people evicted me, even when people try to put me on the block, I want to make sure I at least had a good working relationship with them going forward. Even if I necessarily didn't take it personally more so than anything else, even though sometimes I did, but like, don't really tell people about that more so than anything else. I felt like I was still able to have solid connections with people. Yes, necessarily I did touch the block a lot, but I don't think that's necessarily a spite against me, especially because, look, I was on the block multiple times. There was multiple times people could have easily taken me out. I would consider it a benefit of my own social game that when there was a serious insurgency about taking me out, including the Zoe vote and the Josh vote, really, your vote out. I was honestly initially really concerned about going up against you because if Avery started with Josh, I'm like, why would you put me up against him? He has a lot of connections. But I worked my ass off with the connections I had and the relationships I had to make sure you left. And I considered you one of the biggest social threats in this game, more so than anything else. And I think it's also a testament to my own social game that between us, and I think we were two big social threats, I was able to swing the votes against you more so than anything else. I think there's different ways that you can facet a social game. I consider it comfortability, how people like actually think of me in this game, even if they don't like me, if they do have a genuine working relationship with me, because I'm generally am very much a one-on-one person. I can't handle being in 5 chats at the same time because I will slip up eventually, and I know that, so I prefer kind of working on one-on-one relationships more so than anything else. Even if I got put on the block, all the reasons were always understandable for me. I made sure that people never took it personally. And honestly, even if people try to put me up on the block, it was either because they knew I would stay because of the social relationships I had, or they tried to take me out and failed because of the social relationships I had. So I would argue, even though I got put on the block 7 times, my social game was probably one of the best in this game. Better than Tyler's, at least.
Fair enough. I would love to give Tyler a chance to respond because I feel like you have stuff to respond to, but I only have a few minutes left. So I want to get to the fun question. And I know that Michael is coming up fairly shortly after me. So Tyler will have his chance to respond, I'm sure. But so here's what I want to know, because this is final 2 speeches can be very heavy and very gamey and whatever. So I want to ask each of you, I'm coming to visit you at some point in your respective cities. Tyler will use Vancouver because I know where you live right now, there's not a lot of places to go. So where are we going? Like, what are we doing? We're going out, we're having a night out. Like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Ty, you can start.
Dusty, we already talked about this. Flights are under $100 right now. So it's gonna happen. But we're gonna go clubbing. We already you've never been to a club, and I already told you I'm gonna drag you to a club. And we're gonna have fun. I feel like, well, actually, initially we're gonna go bar hopping, and then I feel like we'll end up at the club later because I feel like that's just like fun. And then in Vancouver, I feel like there's so much there's so much ocean and water around. Ideally it would be like summertime and we could go to the beach and honestly day drink at the beach, go to bar hopping, and then end up at the club. That's the ideal.
Sounds great. All right, Brandon, I only have so much time left.
I'll be quick. If it was at night, there's like 3 bars in my town. There's Beachmont, which is honestly a bar I really go to. There's Silkies, who have these drinks called rumbas, which are super good, but they're also super alcoholic, which you can only drink 4 of them per night. That bar's open until like 4 a.m., so we're good. Then there's Specs, which is like a huge dancing party. That's specifically in my college town, New Rochelle. We can also go into New York City. I have a couple friends there who know a lot of like the bars around there and the nightclubs. I just want to make sure we chill. Whatever's fun with you is fun with me. We can go see Broadway movies. We can go see tourist destination. I'm going to be final forever. I'm probably one of the most chill people you could travel with because I don't give a shit. You can want to go to a church and I'd be like, let's go, bestie. Woo!
I promise you I will not want to go to a church.
Maybe sure. You never know.
Thank you guys so much. I want to say again, I love you both so much. This game was such a blast to play with both of you. Good luck. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. Production team, thank you so much for having me. I really had a blast and I hope I did you guys proud this season. And I can't wait to see who takes home the prize. So bye. Where's my loot? But there.
All right, next up we do have Michael Davis.
Oh, he's right next. Okay.
We get the couple back to back. How cute.
Michael's voice and Michael Davis.
Michael and Michael's voice. Welcome back to the BB Disneyland house. Your 10 minutes will start when you start talking, bestie.
Oh my goodness. So first off, Tyler, I want you to take like 60 seconds and respond because I know that that was something that you wanted to get a chance to do. So 60 seconds, go.
Low key, to respond to, I mean, I guess I hate responding to other people's questions because obviously it's their input, but like I feel like my social game, like I feel like Brandon got to touch a lot on his social game in that question. And he was saying that every time he was nominated, he knew he was staying. I feel like I used my social game to never get nominated, period. And I don't think Brandon was necessarily staying every single time he was nominated. I think a lot of times it flipped last minute, flipped halfway through the day. I think there was a lot of times Brandon could have gone home when, and he obviously didn't. So like, good for him. I applaud that actually. But at the end of the day, I never touched the block. And that's kind of what I wanted to say.
Okay, you're good. I'm probably gonna do more talking than asking. So first off, I heard a lot from both of you. Brandon, you are like claiming this really good social game, but you're sitting next to Tyler. So that's my problem. You just claimed that your social game was better than Tyler's. I completely disagree. Yes, you were able to stay every time you were on the block, but Tyler didn't have to even do that because he never touched the block. And in the jury chat, they were talking about jury management, social game. Jury management and social game are completely different. Social game is within the game. Jury management is how you send people out of the game. Tyler played an absolutely perfect social game in this game. Jury management, bestie, terrible. But social game, amazing. Brandon, I also think that at least in the beginning of this game, your social awareness in here was just not very good. I heard a lot of people telling me that you thought that like nobody was putting you up the first couple weeks, but half the game was putting you up and then you got put up. So that just, I don't know, the social awareness, at least at the beginning, just wasn't there. Hold on. And so then I also feel like a lot of the moves in this game, like a lot of the things that people did in this game for Brandon, a lot of the things you tried to do, yes, you did make or try to make big moves. I really respect that. However, a lot of the time they didn't work. Whereas everything that Tyler wanted to do in this game worked. At least in the jury phase of the game, whoever Tyler wanted to see leave the game is who left the game. If Tyler wanted you out against Jason, it would have happened. If Tyler wanted you out against Zoe, it would have happened. If Tyler wanted you out against Josh, it would have happened. If Tyler wanted Karen out instead of Avery, it would have happened. If Tyler wanted Emily out, it would have happened. Every single round, whatever Tyler wanted to happen, happened. And that shows his strategic game and his social game. Tyler also won a decent amount of comps. Yes, you definitely won more, but I think that Tyler showed that he at least does have some physical skills in this game. Yes, sorry, I feel like I'm ranting. I just feel like Tyler played such an amazing game this season. And yes, he pissed me the fuck off when I went home, but he still did everything he needed to do to make it through this game. Also, with Brandon, I feel like a lot of the times that you ended up staying was more just because of who you were sitting next to rather than something you were doing to keep yourself safe, where I'm sure you were working really hard to keep yourself safe. Absolutely, respect that. But I also think that Tyler had a lot to do with you staying, and other people wanting the people next to you on the block to stay is what more went into you staying. Before I'm going to ask a question to Tyler, but Brandon, I want you to respond because I feel like I really just dogged your game, but I want you to get a chance to respond.
No, I understand. I knew you were going to do this in the first place. You mentioned before about everything. So I don't take it personally, love. Don't worry about it. I guess just a response to the beginning of the game. I know exactly which round you're talking about. That was the second round that was put up. The only reason why I was playing that, and me and Alexander were talking about this afterwards, it was just really a miscommunication on my end and Karen's end and Alex end, because Alex told Karen apparently that she had nothing to worry about, which she told me, I think, which led us both to the impression that he wasn't going to nominate us. And I feel like I worded it in a specific way that it didn't come off as that, but it might have just been a miscommunication on that end. So if that was the case, that was probably it. I don't think I was being cocky that round more so than anything else. I don't try to be, I guess, more so than anything else. Can I be judgmental? Probably. Can I be emotional? Definitely. But that's who I am at the end of the day. I would also argue sometimes, sorry, I'm like trying to find a thing to say.
You're fine.
I feel like sometimes luck also does come into play with these games. Yes, I was on the block a lot. I will guarantee that. Yes, other people played a part of who got eliminated. I will guarantee that. But you also have to argue that a lot of times there was serious momentum against me staying in this game, and it's still flipped to keep me in this game. And the biggest thing that I always tell people is that when there's a big threat in this game, and they're consistently a big threat in this game, and you have the option to take them out, you have to take them out at some point. I was fine being jailed at a specific point, but when time after time after time after time again, I was on the block, and people had constantly gone around saying I was a big threat in this game. I can win mental competitions, which I have done consistently. I fucking wrote Tower's cheat sheet for the redo because I did not want that son of a bitch losing. I literally did. It was so bad. While he was getting drunk with his brother, I was the one fucking writing for him. I feel like maybe it does play along with other games, but I feel like every single person's game works within the context of others more so than anything else. I feel like I did definitely play a good game. Yes, did it have other people involved? Absolutely. My game was my game. Maybe it was a bit unorthodox, but I wanted to play a clean, honest game where I could. I wanted to make sure that everyone knew where I stood in this game, who my targets were, who I was close to more so than anything else. And I feel like I was an open book with that more so than anything else. Maybe I didn't play the perfect social game. Maybe I didn't play the perfect strategic game, but I sure as hell gave it my best fucking effort in this game, which I always did 24/7. And that you cannot take away from me, and no one in this game can take away from me, because I tried my fucking best to play the game that I wanted, and I still ended up here when there were so many people in this game who wanted me on one point or another. I still fucking stayed. And honestly, I don't know why Tyler voted to keep me over you after a specific point. That was stupid on his end, but his decision at the end. And I think that has to go with how close my relationship to Tyler was at that specific point in comparison to you.
Okay. I think the one point I want to make is that I really feel like Tyler's game can absolutely exist without you. I think your game doesn't exist without Tyler, and I think that shows me who I think played the stronger game. But so Tyler, I have two things for you. My first question is just please explain why, when you had the chance to tell me on the breakout room that I was being evicted, why you did not tell me.
Okay, so first of all, again, this goes into my jury management because obviously you are one of my closest friends in the community, and when telling you face to face, just like I feel like I physically couldn't do it. However, in that moment, I was saving you. And I told Emily that going into that breakout room with you. I was like, I'm saving Michael. I think it makes the most sense. And then when I had those like 30 seconds in between where I like looked at the jury, I was like, Hearn, I don't know where he's going to vote. Zoe, I think she's going to be pissed at me. Karen's going to be pissed at me. That left everyone that we both had connections with. And I felt like at the end of the day, I needed those votes that we both had connections to in order to win this game. So that's kind of why I did it. And I feel like I couldn't bring Emily because that would have, I swore on that so long that if I brought her, I probably would have been shit on the entire time. So that left you or Brandon. But at the end of the day, I wanted you and Brandon in final three. It just didn't happen, but I apologize for not telling you.
I respect it. I respect it. My other thing is, if you want my vote, I need you to take off your hat.
Okay, well,
I'm just kidding.
If you don't want to vote for me,
please. Just kidding. But yes, this was a fun game. This was a fun game because of the people in this game. This cast was absolutely amazing. Thank you, production, for including me in this cast. So yeah, I think that's all I got. So good luck, because this is a really split jury. So good luck, besties.
Thank you so much, Michael. Love you, bestie. All right, next up, we do have a video from Miss Emily. She's seeing Dua Lipa tonight, so she cannot be present. She snuck herself into the pit. Yes, she did. Mama's popping off. So in her place, we do have a video that she sent, which Timmy's going to share right now.
Tyler, did that crash your Skype or your Zoom, or are you good?
I think I'm good.
Okay. I'm going to play the video from Emily. If she asks any questions, I'll pause after them and give that person a chance to respond. Honestly, I haven't watched her video, so.
Okay. Hi, Tyler and Brandon. I'm so proud of you. I'm in the car with my friend Hiva, and we are about to go to the Dua Lipa concert, and I'm recording this last minute, so I apologize. Also, look, I got my new nails. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is compliment my nails.
I think they look hot as fuck. I feel like going to a Dua Lipa concert. They're really thriving.
Honestly, the nails, they're like a purple color, I believe. They actually look really good. My sister gets her nails done all the time and she shows me, and I've always been genuinely interested about it because I've also been thinking of getting my nails like painted, maybe black or something like that. I'm not certain. But honestly, it's a really good color. And when you want like a nail color, sometimes you have to pick something that pops and it's a little bit different. That's a little bit different and it pops enough that it actually looks really, really good on you. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I had a lot of fun playing with both of you, and I think my first question is going to be to Tyler. Tyler, I think you have gotten a lot of heat from the jury about protecting me in this game, and I would like to give you an opportunity to explain yourself and explain why I was an important part of your game. I know that that's like a narcissistic question, but also I think that that's a really big part of people's hesitation for voting for you.
I will say that I wish I got to this. And again, I will get to, my speech was cut off initially, so I will get to that later when we have closing. But Emily definitely played a big part in my game. And I think overall, Emily was always bringing me to final two. Everyone always thought that it was Emily and Alex to the end, Emily and Alex. And that's the picture everyone painted. Whereas me and Emily had such a good relationship. Emily was not inactive to me at all. I knew she was always going to bring me no matter what. And I like respected that. And as the numbers dwindled, one vote is a crucial vote. And if Emily won veto at 4, she was not putting me on the block. If she won final HOH, she was not evicting me. Like no matter who I was against, she was never evicting me. The only part of the game where I think she was iffy with me was when I sent Avery home. And other than that, I think Emily was willing to vote however I wanted, basically the entire game. And the main vote that shows that is she evicted her in real life friend Luke because it benefited me more. And I will say that I think this was just the start of it. I think every other vote, I had a lot of pull with Emily. And I think Emily can also vouch for that if she was here. But yes, Emily was 100% in my corner, and that's why I kept her around.
As well as talk about the round where I won the power of veto and why I used it on Brandon. Yeah. And then
can I talk about that? So the round that she used it on Brandon, I know Brandon claimed in his speech it was all his move. Emily called me that round right after she won veto and told me she was 100% not using it. And I told her, bestie, Alex is putting you up as a renom. Why don't you want to ruin his HOH? Like, we can use Brandon in this game. I was the reason Brandon was taken off. He can take credit for it, but she was 100% not using it until I convinced her to take Brandon off the block. And I made her ruin Alex's relationships in the process.
Brandon, my question for you is literally just how close were we actually in this game? Because I feel like I have a different idea of what our relationship in the game was. And no hard feelings if it's like, oh, I didn't give a fuck about you. Don't say that though, because then I won't vote for you. But yeah, that's all I'll say. I wish luck to the both of you. I'll be watching the final.
Honestly, Emily and my relationship was actually initially kind of close. I've mentioned this before to people. I think I always have had a hard time getting attached to people just on a personal level. I've always had that kind of detachment around people and everything else. I was mentioning this to Avery before when I was put up against Josh more than anything. I always have a hard time like making those attachments. Emily was always someone I very much vibed with. I very much enjoyed. Maybe game-wise, we didn't see eye to eye a lot of times. And there was definitely some times that I did want her out. But on a personal level, completely, I absolutely adored her. Like, she honestly was such a kind person to me and such a sweet person. And I understand the flack that she got for, you know, apparently being inactive and all this shit. But it's just, for me, I always take people as kind of like who they are and what they give to me. And what I got from Emily was someone very kind and very sweet. So that's why I at least tried to give back whenever I could. It was close. I know sometimes it might not necessarily feel like it to anyone really, because I've always tried to put up this wall of detachment, and I always tried to make sure that I was able to connect with people as much as I could throughout this game, for me as well. But it was close, probably closer than you think, but it was close.
Big Brother, but I'll be watching the finale back, the whole thing, and making my decision based off your answers. Yes, the end.
We love Emily. Yes, we do. Thank you, Miss Emily. Next up, we do have a video from Alex. Timmy is also going to screen share right now.
All right, hey guys. So in typical Big Brother Disney fashion, even though this is finale night, I have a thing tonight, so I can't make it. So this video is gonna have to, you know, take place of me being there on call. But anyway, Brandon, Tyler, congrats to you guys for making it this far. You both played very good games, and you both definitely deserve to be here tonight. Before I ask my question, just want to sort of talk to both players individually. So first of all, Tyler, I think you played an extremely good social game. It seems that almost everyone thought that you were their #1 ally in the game, which I know takes a lot of skill to be able to pull off. And, you know, most obviously you played a perfect game, and you didn't even touch the block until final 3, which is extremely impressive. However, I think that you had to burn a lot of bridges in order to get to that point, including with me. And I think it seems as if you were almost never honest with anyone, except for a few select times. And I think that all in all, you played a bit of a cowardly game, you know, relying on just other people doing things for you because you had their trust, which eventually you threw out. Brandon, on the other hand, I think you played a completely different game. I think it was a very honest and loyal game. I know you've said to me multiple times you're very straightforward, and I really appreciate you doing that and not stringing me along or anything like that. And you unblocked 7 times, either as a first nom or a final nom, and you're still here. I don't know how you did that. And also you had the most comp wins this season and most HOH wins. However, I think that your game, especially in the beginning, was pretty erratic and irrational. And we both know this, but I still think it's necessary to bring up that, you know, you seem to do things more emotionally rather than strategically. And one moment that really, really, really sticks with me, especially when I'm making this decision, is during that one renoms ceremony. Davis said, you know, Brandon, you just screwed up your own game and you're probably going to be leaving soon. And you said, I don't care. That's something I got to take into consideration. But with all this in mind, for both your guys' games, I do have to place my vote for one of you. And since I think I had a pretty good relationship with both of you guys at one point in the game, but then you guys were the 2 votes to get me out of the game. This is an interesting decision to make. So with all that in mind, I think a huge factor, at least for my decision, is what people do for their games that doesn't require them to rely on other people to do their dirty work for them or letting the game happen to them. So my question for you is if you can give an example of that, an example of in your own personal game, what is one thing that you did to further your own game that didn't have you relying on somebody else to get blood on their hands for your own sake. I'll be keeping up with everybody's answers so I can make the best decision for this game. Best of luck to both of you guys.
You want to go first, Tyler? You muted.
I went first last time. You can go this time.
Oh, you bitch. Okay. I guess just to respond to, that thing more so than anything else. I guess more so, me apparently being irrational at the beginning may sometimes come out of a bit of fear that I might have towards, again, it was just those early rounds more so than anything else. I guess the way I acted the way I did towards Michael Davis was because I knew I was his target, and I just did not respond well to him calling me a hypocrite in the slightest, because at that point, I had already made the move, and honestly, at that point, I didn't really give a shit what you think because I made it and there was no taking it back. I feel like a move that I made personally that allowed me to kind of get farther in this game without having to rely on so many different people, I guess, was actually evicting you, Alex. Both Karen and Tyler were pushing me different ways. I know Karen obviously wanted me to evict Emily, and Tyler wanted me to evict you. Actually, I would say it was my idea initially to evict you at first, because Tyler and I kind of were on call together right after the veto ceremony, and I was sitting there looking at Tyler like, so we're going to evict Alex, right? And he was like, yeah, definitely. But I think and I'll be honest, I was very much going back and forth around that vote because I wasn't sure what the best option was for me, because I felt like you and Emily were definitely forces in my game that necessarily wouldn't have taken me to the end more so than anything else. And I wasn't exactly sure what the right move was. I guess I definitely heard both Tyler and Karen out more so than anything else. And I guess I kind of just sat down. I thought everything out to my own end, because ultimately I don't give a shit what Tyler fucking says. Whoever I voted that round was going home, no matter the fuck what. It made more sense for me to take you out at that time because you were the one force in this game that literally I felt like was going to be against me throughout the rest of the game. And you had proved that before by putting me up twice with both times I was being your target. That was a logical move on my end. And it was a move that I made without having to really rely on anyone more so than anything else. Because Tyler obviously wanted Emily at that point, and I caught on to the relationship at that point that they were close. Tyler obviously wanted to leave, get rid of Emily. It was ultimately up to my decision. She can say he convinced me, but it was ultimately my decision at the end of the day. And I laid everything out on my own end. And that was a move I made to make sure that I took you out, because at that point, I was confident that you were the one person who I was the number one target of. And at that point, I knew I could pretty much play the game that I wanted to play while having to be touching the block 24/7 or having to worry about that, because every single time you won a competition was really a worst case scenario for me. And that has to go to your game, because I know obviously we were on different sides of that shit more so than anything else, but that was a move I made and it was my decision. And I didn't have to really do anything about that. Yeah. Tyler, you're up.
Okay. Firstly, yes, I feel like it's not professional to respond to Brandon, so I'm gonna just respond to you, Alex. But basically, one move that I think was strictly my move and nobody else's, or well, I guess I had a lot of those moves, but nobody else got blood on their hands, I think was Karen's vote off, because I think although I did have to convince Michael to do it, I don't think Michael got blood in his hands, because at the end of the day, Karen told me that she wanted Michael to get fourth anyway. So I don't really think it got blood on his hands in the slightest. However, that was my one move that I honestly think that was like my game winning move, was getting rid of Karen, because at the end of the day, When Karen left, every single person was bringing me to final 2, no matter what. No, there was no scenario I was leaving at 4. There was no scenario I was leaving at 3. And I think that put me in the great position to make final 2. And yeah, did I have to lie and cheat my way through that round? Absolutely, which I think I will own this game. I did not play an honest game. I did not play the most loyal game. The only person I would have been 100% loyal to had they still been around was Avery. And I will say that till the day I die, Avery was my number 1, no matter what. And yeah, so at the end of the day, taking Karen out, I think honestly sat me in these final 2 chairs, no matter what. So yeah.
Note, obviously, and because icons go last, we do actually have Avery here with us. So welcome, Avery. Queen, hello.
Hi. Oh my God, where the fuck am I? What the hell? Is my camera missing?
Your camera has never worked on this one. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh my gosh, no. 1 second.
If you try to go to your settings, maybe go to your Zoom settings.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna leave and come back. But just like, I don't know, take a minute, take a little breather.
She deserves it.
I love that woman.
Yeah, this seems like a fitting end to the jury questions. This seems fitting.
Miss Fling Fling Bong Giggity Papa.
We also have an alum joining to watch.
There it is.
Welcome back, Queen Fling Fling Giddy Pop Pop.
Fling Fling.
Bong Bong.
She's been connecting to audio for a hot minute.
Just making sure it connects properly.
Nope, and there she goes.
And
Yeah, give her a second. She'll be fine.
we're figuring it out. To be fair, this did happen before every single.
It never worked on her phone. I think she probably has the camera disabled.
I don't think she realizes that.
That's what I was trying to explain to her.
She said, 1 second, sing for a second or something. I will not be doing that.
I mean, I could sing.
But at the final
Yeah, Brandon, why don't you go for that, bestie?
Okay, I don't need no doctor to treat me, no, no, no. I don't need no pills or therapy, no, no, no. Freud might work for some, but that just ain't for me. I don't need no shrink if you're just coming back to me. Cause when I'm with you, baby, I'm feeling less confused. And my heart goes boom, boom, boom. Oh, she's here!
Oh my God. I'm joining from my phone for the first time. Feels like I'm a YouTube vlogger up in this bitch.
Welcome, Avery. You do have 10 minutes, and your 10 minutes will start when you start talking, my lovely.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so sorry for the momentary delay. And also the little TikTok audio is probably going through everybody's head because I'm not even on jury. So like that, she doesn't even go here is so equivalent right now because bing bang fling flong, whatever the fuck my name is, I'm not supposed to be here, bitch, but I am. So we came to play. I was actually doing a CPR course today, and Brandon, after hearing that you think that Ty has a crush on you, I almost had to give myself CPR. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a moment, but it honestly it gave me life a tiny bit. Okay, it was good. I liked it. It was comedic. It was just the perfect amount of flair. But anyways, I actually took notes as well because I don't even have anything prepared. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing my "fuck you" hoodie. That's not a message to either of you. It's just I was in a silly goofy mood. I don't know, I was feeling it. But anyways, okay. So initially, I was a very petty bitch. I will admit it because I was having some type of life shit, and then I was voted out, and I was like, shit, another thing added up. But and I also did kind of tell Ty, I was like, I'm never gonna write your name down on parchment. But I meant that earlier on when I thought he'd never vote me out. So I kind of meant it as a little secret innuendo. Like, if you do vote me out, bitch, you're not getting my fucking jury vote. But I've since become a good person. Just kidding. I'm not a good person still, but like I've since, taken my moment to rejuvenate and take a little spa weekend. But I do have some questions, and because I'm done, sorry, I just had a glob of spit in my mouth. It was very disgusting. But since hearing all of your bullshit, both of you, to the jury, all of you guys have done is give compliments. And as a very hateful person, I am not here for all the what's the terminology? The blowing smoke up each other's asses, as stated in Oxford Dictionary, because I hate ass smoke blowers, as quoted by Julia and Nico. Neither of you will get the reference, but it's a good one. Trust me. But anyways, yeah, I want you to be your most hateful, spiteful selves and answer my 3 weird questions. 1, instead of your best move, because I keep hearing of everybody's good moves and everybody being a boss ass bitch, but I want to feel better about myself and my cool ass hoodie. So I want to hear about your worst move. Tell me quickly, because I have 2 other questions. You have like 30 seconds. Okay, ABC, Brandon, you're alphabetical. You can go first. 30 seconds. Worst move.
Me freaking out when Alexander put me up the first time. I feel like it tanked a lot of the social capital I had in the beginning of the game. And I couldn't stop that myself because I was feeling a type of way and I was fucking pissed at him like you would not imagine, because I thought he betrayed not only me, but Karen. That I feel like sunk a lot of social capital that I had in my game that I eventually, yes, I did build that up, but that was a fucking idiotic thing in my eye. I just shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down.
Okay, Ty, your turn.
My worst move was lying to you, or not lying to you, but was promising you that I would evict Josh, because I think at the end of the day I should have never promised you anything because I wanted you and Josh there. So promising you that was my worst move.
It's okay, shit happens, life happens, but I appreciate both of your humble honesty. Honestly, it's really refreshing to hear people be hateful and spiteful. I love it. It reminds me of my VL chat. But we'll get into that later. I actually made a song about all of you. Anyways, who is the most annoying person in this game? And please make it from the jury. Like, please have my life intact. And you have, like, the first person who came to mind. Like, honestly, that's all I want. I don't care if you lose your jury vote or pre-jury. I have mine, but I won't share mine because I'm not in your position. But anyways, say your most annoying person, please. Ty, you can go first.
Well, I will tell you, me and Avery talked about a lot of people in this game. However, I will say the most annoying person is going to be right now Zoe.
Wow. Okay, drama, bringing the drama. And Brandon.
Alexander. No hesitation in that. We could talk about it afterwards, but every single time I wanted something fucking in this game and he was the worst case scenario to win, he fucking wins. What the fuck?
Wow, you guys are so hateful and mean. I love it. Oh my God. Okay. So in an alternate reality, because I love thinking about things which aren't true, theoretically, if we were married, like you and I, well wedded, like lovers, I know that's probably not it doesn't make much sense, but if we were married, 2 kids living in a suburb with a white picket fence, a little white dog with crusty ass eyes, you get what I mean? What would be the reason for it to not work? Why would we break up? What is your toxic trait? Would you cheat on me? Would you eat my firstborn child? Would you kill my favorite tomato plant with cyanide? Tell me. Actually, cyanide, never mind. I'm not going to get into the logistics, but Brandon, you first. Why would we break up?
I'd be too much of a bitch to divorce. I go straight for murder, but not like the overall murder, more so than anything else. Like, I don't do the stab, shoot. I would do the slow and methodical poisoning so I can watch you suffer slowly as you don't know I'm killing you. And then I take your kids, and then I take your money, and then I take the house. It's all mine. You will never fucking know a thing. And you'll still have an opinion of me when you leave. Because I am what? That fucking select if I do that shit. It'll be a slow poisoning so I can watch you as you squirm and die.
Oh, that is some Joe Goldberg type shit. Would you eat me? Would you cannibalize me? Throw a little salt in the wound? I don't know. You kind of seem like the type.
I mean, if you're into it.
I'm not being into murder. Don't get any twisted ideas. But why would we break up?
I honestly think that you would cheat on me. I think that's what would happen here. I think that we talked about this a few times. I don't think that we would be locked down to each other. I think we could definitely handle living in the same house. We'd have a good time. But at the end of the day, I don't know I don't know if we're long term. We'd be short term.
We'd definitely be short term. We'd have like little short term affairs, you know. But anyways, guys, I don't have I don't know how much time I have left, but I'm predicting I have about 3 minutes and 32 seconds. But anyways, for my last question, was that correct? Wow, look at me bringing the mathematics. I'm an English major. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not in school right now. But anyways, guys, pick a number between 1 and 10. Go.
5.
7.
What did you just say? 5, 7?
Yeah.
Oh, 5. Okay, sorry. I was like, that's not right. Your turn. Other one with
I picked 7. Brandon picked 5.
Oh, you said at the same time. I thought Brandon said 5, 7.
We said one right after the other.
Anyways, that had actually no significance to my vote. It's already been decided. It's been decided. It was kind of flippy floppy for a bit because I was going through a little phase where I was like, do I proceed with my villain arc or do I go with my hero arc? But no, I have no arc. I am simply neutral. Therefore, I already have my vote intact and my camera just died. But anyways, yeah, it was so fun having a laugh with you guys and predicting us being married in the future. So let's do a throuple, maybe.
Hot.
But that's all. Bye, guys.
Bye, Avery. I missed you so much.
We love you so much, Queen.
Love you guys.
Thank you for coming tonight, my lovely. Marry me, XOXO.
Of course. Anywhere, anytime.
She can cheat on me with you, Madison.
There we go. Oh my God, yes. I'm the villain in this storyline. All right. So with that, we have been through all of our jurors. So now we're going to end the stream for a little bit. Closing statements. Sorry.
Clown.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a finale if I didn't mess up something. Closing statements. So now Tyler is going to go first for closing statements, and Brandon is going to go last. So Tyler, your 10 minutes will start when you start talking.
Okay, so I'm gonna start by finishing my opening speech just a little bit because I feel like I didn't touch on a lot of the jurors. Basically, next we're on to the Avery round. This round was honestly a big crucial part in my game. I think at the end of the day, I've always said Avery's my final 2, my ride or die. I said over and over again in my production chat, I will lose to this woman. She's the person I have the most fun with in this game. I don't care. But when Emily won veto, I took that opportunity to burn more of Alex's bridges. And at the end of the day, Avery went up and I was waiting. I was not concrete on saving Karen or Avery in this moment. If Avery came back and told me that she was going to be very active, I was 100% saving Avery, no questions asked. I was never evicting that woman. However, I did come up with this idea to Michael 30 minutes before eviction that we could send. Wait, was Avery not next to Karen? I think she was.
She was.
Was she? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we came up with this idea to save Karen and make a deal with Karen. And then we could do damage control with Emily and Alex by telling Emily and Alex that Avery volunteered to be evicted. Never once, I don't know if this could be perceived differently, never once did I tell anybody that to try to get Avery evicted. It was more so for the people left in the game that it was damage control for, because I didn't want Alex and Emily to be mad at me. But at the end of the day, obviously Avery popped on literally at eviction, and it spiced little things up. But yeah, I do think it benefited me to save Karen because she did ended up winning the next HOH. And once she won, I knew I was 100% safe this round. I just evicted my number 1 ally over her. I expressed this to her. I said, Avery was my number 1 this entire game. So if I save you, you better be in it with me. And I guess that is what happened. And Karen ended up putting up Alex and Emily. And then I think as we got to the vote, it was more so Brandon was the obvious swing vote in this scenario. I wanted Alex to go because Alex was super close with Michael. And I felt in my gut that if Michael and Alex were in final 3 with me, that I was getting 3rd no matter what. And so overall, I decided that I need to push Brandon very hard. Brandon told me initially he would evict Alex. Then he had a call with Karen early on in the morning, and then he was saving Alex. And then I pushed him very hard before he had his 3-hour nap before eviction to evict Alex. And he can say that it was all his decision. Without me pushing him super hard, that would have never happened. Sorry, I'm like got a little burps here, but that's okay. So then we got to Karen's eviction, which I already talked about. But Karen, I was saving you generally all day until the last 30 minutes. Brandon had slipped to me that you guys were closer than I anticipated. And I felt if I evicted you, Brandon was bringing me to the end no matter what. And I felt like it needed to happen. I did create a lot of lies to Michael to get you evicted. And I am sorry about that on a personal level, but for my game, it definitely was the best move. Michael, we definitely talked about this already. I obviously had to evict you because I think you would have stole the votes I needed to win this game. I think there was absolutely no hope if I evicted Brandon. I think I was losing no matter what in final two, because the people who were going to be bitter at me were going to be bitter at me regardless. And yeah, that's ultimately what had to happen. Emily, if I lose this game, it was protecting you, Queen, and I would do it again 10 times. I'm so excited to meet you when you go on your road trip, and I can't wait to fuck shit up together. And yeah, I was evicting Emily for third. For context, I was bringing Brandon as well. But yes, at the end of the day, I did not play the most heroic game. I definitely did play the most villainous game in this cast, 100%. I know my jury management wasn't on fleek, but I think at the end of the day, my social and strategic game within the game was phenomenal. I really don't think I could have played much better. I think every strategic move I made was for the better. And at the end of the day, I am very proud of the game I played. This is definitely the best game I think I've ever played in an org. And whatever happens, I respect you all. Brandon, if you win, I congratulate you. And it has been a blast playing with you.
All right, Brandon, you have the floor. 10 minutes starts when you begin talking.
It's 10 minutes, so let's do this. I guess I might be struggling with what to say initially because I always suck with fucking closing statements, but I am very proud of the game I played at the end. I obviously won more competitions than anyone in this game. No one could take that fact away from me. I made sure that I was able to get here by myself. People might argue that I guess being nominated 7 times might be a bad thing, but I think it's because I survived every single fucking time that I feel like my social game was good. I made sure I tried to connect with people. I made sure that I at least was good with people. I made sure that even though the moves I made were for me sound moves, they might have been small moves at the end, but for me, they were always sound moves. I was never trying to burn anyone. I always was an open book with everything. I always wanted to make sure that people knew where I stood with shit. People knew what my mindset was at. So whenever I decide something, they never wanted to be angry at me. They want to be mad at me because that's something I always wanted to take into consideration as well, because necessarily playing a game isn't just about how you affect things in game. It's also how you affect things outside the game as well. How you send people out necessarily, how you handle evictions so that going in to the next eviction, you don't have the most heat you possibly can. I feel like I handled jury management, I think, very well at the end. I feel like my physical game was better than anyone else's. I feel like my social game was actually one of the best in this cast, mostly because not only was I able to connect with people, but I was able to connect with the right people so that when a serious insurgency was made against me, I always fucking stayed. And people might fucking argue that, oh, you could have relied on other people. But when it's different people every single fucking time saying they want to fucking keep me, that has something to do with my social game as well, and me working my ass off to make sure that I stayed every single fucking time. Yes, I might not play the perfect game in terms of nominations, but I worked hard with the cards I was dealt, and I think I played those cards very well in order to get myself to the end in this case. People have constantly said, I feel like throughout this game, that maybe I am emotional. I am. I fucking own that. That's who I am as a player. But I'm also a good strategic player as well. I feel like the moves I made throughout this game were also very sound. I feel like moves throughout this game you have to make necessarily with other people in order to make them succeed. No, people could take claim for moves by themselves more so than anything else, but I feel like those decisions I made were beneficial towards me and myself alone. Because at the end, I was always looking out for myself at the end of the day to make sure I was sitting in one of these fucking chairs. And I had to fight more than any single other person in this fucking cast to get here. 7 nominations, 6 Power BO wins, targeted multiple times throughout this game. I fought my fucking ass off to get into the seat to have a chance to compete and actually win this goddamn game. And I think I played a fucking good game to do that more so than anything else. I want to make sure that I put myself in the best fucking position I could in order to stay here. I think I did that. I think I played a great game, and I hope you guys can see that, and I hope you guys get your votes. Tower, I love you. You know that. We'll talk after the game. But I want this so fucking bad. I fought my ass off throughout this entire game. I want this so bad. I never made a bullshit excuse to anyone in this game. I never made a bullshit excuse saying this person is active, take them out, and then flip on my reasonings. My reasoning has always stayed fucking consistent. I was loyal to the people I was with. I was loyal to that fucking similar alliance to the end. I wanted those people in my fucking corner throughout this entire goddamn game because I am what fucking loyal as shit. That might be my fault. I don't care. I'm a loyal person. That's the game I play. That's the game I wanted to play here. And I think I played that game fucking well. At the end, I feel like I played a good physical game. I played a great social game. And I also feel like my strategic game blends into my social game enough so that the two are combined. I also feel like my strategic game was good as well. Yes, maybe I was nominated, but also was my ability not only connect with people to fight my ass off in order to say that the fact that I'm here in the final 2. And when I did have votes to effect, I made sure they fucking count as much as I can. As much as I've had downs, I made sure I was able to push myself back up again. My game might have been like a fucking roller coaster, but I ended up on a high every single fucking time I had a down. And I think that's something to take into consideration as well. Even if I had downs this game, I managed to push myself back up. I want this bad. I fought my ass off throughout this entire game to get where I am, to make sure that I have the best position to win, to make sure that I'm sitting here. And no matter what, I did that. And I'm so happy because of it. This game has been nothing but amazing. This game has been nothing but magical. I have loved every single person in this game. I have loved playing with everyone. I have loved being with everyone. No matter what, I'm proud of the game I played, and I hope you guys see that. To production, I love you guys so much. I know it probably is funny to end this on the passion speech more so than anything, but who knows? I have had such an amazing time playing this game, and no one could take that away from me. I'm so happy at the end, and yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Final 2. Congratulations, Tyler. Congratulations, Brandon. You both have played incredible games in different ways, and now it is in the hands of the jury to take their questions, take your answers, take your statements to heart, study it, look back over whatever you need to look over. Jury members that have already cast your vote, if you see this, please just go ahead and go confirm it now that everything is over, just for our sake. Just so we know after everything where your vote lies. We are going to cut the stream and give everybody a little bit of time. We had some jurors who were unable to make it during this time, but who are around now, viewing things, getting ready to cast their votes accordingly. And obviously we want to give the final 2 a chance to have their arguments heard before these jurors cast their votes. So we will reconvene a little bit later once we have all of the votes cast. Jurors, as you cast your votes or confirm your votes, you will be added to the reunion chat one at a time where our pre-jury is waiting for you. And then we will gather all back together again when it's time for the winner reveal and for awards. And our awards are really, really fun this season, so definitely stick around for that. And then we can spill all the tea. Prod can talk about the game. It's going to be a really, really good time, so stick around. Alum are welcome back in that, as well as we'll just open that one up when the time comes. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Now we will send another link when we're live with our winner reveal for Big Brother Disney Season 5 Disneyland. Congratulations again, and we'll